Our AI checkup kiosk with an automated camera does the further work. It captures three precise angles of their mouths in seconds.
Look right in the camera.
Our friendly voice will guide your patients throughout the process, making it a breeze from start to finish. No more manual adjustments or uncomfortable repositioning. Our smart kiosk got it all covered, ensuring top notch scans without a hitch. Within seconds, our powerful AI processes the mouth scans and a comprehensive oral health report is ready for you to analyze. Detecting cavities, assessing gum health, and providing valuable insights.
Hi Vidhi, how are you?
Hi, Sad. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. What about you?
I'm doing great as well. So we met at Gitex, and as soon as I met you, I downloaded the app, and it has, it actually gave me really good results. So can you start with the, introduction of it, and then we can talk about it further?
Right. So, what we are building at scanO has been something that we've been doing since last 5 years now. But name is a new entity. Earlier, we were known as Dental Dost. We've just rebranded to scanO. The whole fundamental of building Dental Dost then and scanO now is to make oral checkups easy, fun, and accessible to each and every individual. When it comes to understanding our oral health, as a dental surgeon myself, I've seen people taking actions very late with respect to correcting their diseases in their mouth. But almost all the diseases in your oral cavity, 85% of them are preventable if the diagnosis is happening in time. Not even diagnosis, if you screen your oral cavity regularly, you would know if there's something wrong and take the actions early on, have a holistic approach. And for the very same reason, we are building scanO, which is an AI scan of your mouth. So it's as simple as you'd mentioned, clicking three photos of your mouth, which is front, upper, and lower, and getting a complete screening report within 10 seconds. It is accessible through the mobile app, and feel very proud to say that we've developed world's first AI robot doing the same thing, which is screening your mouth.
Nice, nice. That's really awesome. And yeah, and it was actually faster than 10 seconds when I, as soon as I clicked the photo, it actually gave me the correct results. And about dentistry, I'm actually one of those people who didn't take it seriously until it was, very late. So actually, there was an extraction that needed to be done in 2017. It was just it actually could be fixed, that at that time it could be fixed. So he told me, like, it is a very small thing that, just come in for, few hours and we'll fix it. And I actually delayed it, and in 2021 I actually went and they told me it is going to be an extraction, and halfway through the extraction they told me it is going to be a surgical extraction. So the horror of it, I still remember it. It was the first time that I actually cried for 24 hours, because then yeah, mouth is not a, thing to joke about. Very, 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 very severe. So yeah, that's
Correct.
an important one as well. So tell me, how did you actually landed on this idea?
Right. So there was this idea right from my first year of studying dentistry that we need to amalgamate dental education, oral health delivery with technology to reach out to more people, as many as we can. And second, to make all of these activities and habits sustainable. Now, no matter how many times do we keep telling that you need to brush twice a day, you need to follow the right techniques of brushing, you need to floss, use the products which are relevant for your oral type, and yes, you know, get the screening done every 6 months. How many of them actually do it? If you look at numbers across various geographies, in India, the numbers are scary, right? I'll start from India, I'll cover other geographies. We have a prevalence rate of 75% of people suffering from oral diseases, yet only 10% of them are regular to a dentist and getting the checkups done. So 65% don't even know or are dealing due to whatever reasons that we discussed. Globally, if we see how we've done our soft launch in the UAE, and if we look at the numbers, right, even in UAE, we have more than 85% children suffering from dental decay, which are untreated, and 60% of adults having an untreated decayed tooth or gum diseases in their oral cavity. Irrespective of being covered in insurance or no, these are some basic things which an individual should be inculcating in order to not have any further damage to tooth. Because as much as oral diseases are preventable, unfortunately they are irreversible. So once they start, as you'd mentioned, right, you didn't get a filling in time, escalated to a root canal treatment, escalated to an extraction, and to a surgical extraction. There's no going back. And a natural tooth, nothing can replace. We have all kinds of technologies, implants being placed left, right, and center, but nothing, trust me, nothing can replace an original tooth. And when you can safeguard it, why not? Just by having regular checkups, which is possible through scanO. So that was the fundamental idea. Yeah, so we've covered the UA numbers, right? We know what is happening in the UK, right? There's so much of pressure on NHS that people have to wait for 4 5 weeks just to get an appointment. And dental diseases are such that if you are waiting for 5 weeks, they are irreversible. Your stage 2 or 3 of decay is progressing to stage 5, right? Which again can cost you more time, of course, expense, and the pain that you'll have to bear. If we look at the global numbers, out of 8 billion people that we have on planet Earth, right? 3.5 billion people have oral diseases. So that's like 50, almost 50% of the population, right? And
Yeah,
half of these percentage, or 43%, don't even have access to regular checkups,
yeah,
whatever the reasons might be, right? Dentist not being accessible, what's happening in the UK, you're not getting appointments in time, having a phobia associated with it. People, it's a proven thing that people are phobic to dental
yeah,
treatments, which prevents them to coming for these regular checkups, and multiple such things. So I was like, we have to amalgamate this with tech. And we started with a very interesting thing, which was a 24 by 7 dental helpline. So
nice.
anytime during the day, night, you've met with an accident, or you have such a excruciating pain that you need to speak to a dental surgeon, get the right prescription, and of course get the right appointment, either right there and then or the immediately following morning. We started with that, and that itself saw so much of traction among users and love that has been poured by our customers. I was like, okay, we want to scale this, and we can't have an army of dental surgeons just fulfilling these calls. And that's when we started collecting data, annotating them, having the right segments and augmentation in place. And today, as you've experienced yourself during Gitex, right, through the robot or our mobile app, any user can scan, irrespective of their education. You don't need to be a specific medical person to scan. Anybody can scan
Yeah,
their mouth through the tech and get a complete report in 10 seconds, and with respective next steps, what is to
yeah.
be done, right? So that has been the background of why did I start this and where are we currently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice one, and it's actually even nicer to know that you actually started with a helpline as well, and that was sounds like a really good idea. I think that's why you moved from dental dose to scanO, because scanO can be, I think, scaled indefinitely, because if you can add a lot of things into it, and it's a really good one. I'm gonna tell you my personal experience of scanO again. And it's when I scanned it and I saw the results, I actually showed it to my sister, and she was immediately like, I want to see it, and she did it. And then my mother was right nearby, and she was like, I want to see it as well. So she did it as well. So like in about 3 minutes, all of family members were able to just do it and understand the next steps as well. That was the really good one, because it actually gives you a full report where it actually tells you next steps that you can do to actually take care of your health. And yeah, it actually gave me a lot of insights. And about UAE, what I want to say is that basically, you know, the expat population here, so we actually are more afraid to go to doctor here. I'm going to be very honest about it. That a lot of us, the way people work here, and the way their lives are very hectic and stuff that we go through, and especially the prices here. So yeah, it's very, it actually gets complicated. But yeah, you are right. And back in India, the problem is that people are actually scared to just expose their mouth to somebody else. So yeah, that's a very good one, that people can, from sitting at their home, just scan it and know what actual problem is. And once they know that, they can actually get a surgery, or can work towards making it better. So it's a really really great one. So tell me, being a doctor yourself, uh, when you had to embed technology, that must have been really hard, because that these two are very different things. So how did you tackle that, and what was the major problem or major obstacle during that?
Yeah. So, as you rightly mentioned, right, uh, things have changed post COVID. But when we
Yeah.
started with our research collection of data and having actually building the right set of tools to annotate, label these data, medical and tech does not go hand in hand. It was not the situation back then, and it was so uh, critical for us to train dental surgeons on how do we label this data. Of course, the first set of um, like 5,000 odd images were done just by me, right? The labeling was done by me, so that we can have a complete end-to-end guidelines and bibles of what is to be done and what not. Because the kind of quantity of data that we are looking at, even if a minor batch gets annotated in a wrong fashion, it can impact the overall accuracy, and eventually the sensitivity and specificity of what the end user is receiving as a report. And since it is with respect to health, right, there are zero compromises that we can make with respect to what are we showing to the user, because that's eventually impacting the next steps that a user and eventually the doctor is taking. So major hurdles were many. Phase wise, if we look at the right set of data set, right, just to have a good differentiation between your four kinds of teeth, which are your incisors and canines and premolars and molars, we had to train almost 100,000 images to show that okay, these are a normal anatomical variations in the mouth. And once we've taught a physiology and anatomy of the mouth, then comes the pathology. And then on the tooth itself, we have like 50 plus diseases which are seen visually, right? People are just aware of, say, decay or stains or tartar, but there are 50 plus, including various stages of decay.
Yeah.
So something which is known as incipient caries, which is just a starting phase of a decay, which does not look black, it looks chalky white, right? And then there are pit and fissure caries. There are either pit or fissure or combination. And then comes the deep caries and grossly decayed and root stumps and fractured and malaligned and diastema, and the list goes on and on. So, you know, just imagine, just for a normal anatomy, we had to put in like 100,000 images. What does it take to have the 96% accuracy which we have currently for all of these parameters, what I just mentioned, right? So today we stand with a data of more than 500,000 images,
Nice.
trained, annotated, and collected, basically collected by my team of dental surgeons, of course, including tech people, how we had the
Yep.
process in place. So that was extremely difficult. Now we have a lot of automation in place. We have all our pre, during, post processing of images, giving the report and the following processes to users in an automated fashion. But yeah, we have the next league of challenges ahead of us, where we are now looking at other lesions in the mouth, barring tooth. So tooth is done. We are looking at attaining an accuracy of 99%. And then will come, say lesions on your palate or your tongue, where we see a lot of precancerous or oral cancer lesions. So see, with any disease, right? It's no brainer that prevention is better than cure. and
Yep.
earlier you're diagnosed, you have a better outcome and a better prognosis. But how do we make it accessible with the right accuracy and right steps is something that we are navigating to give user the best journey possible. And I feel very, very glad and happy that we got some of the really happy users during Gitex. That they were
Yeah.
just amazed. More than 60% of users who scanned, and we got like more than 2,500 people who scanned during those 4 days. And out
Nice.
of
Yeah.
these 2,500 people, 60% of them had done the scan for the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, my mother doesn't believe in, doctors, so she's that kind of, but she was like, ये मुफ्त का है तो मैं करूंगी. So yeah, that happens a lot. So but yeah, that is one important thing that, and yeah, it also combining the technology with medical is very hard. I have, a little bit of experience in big health data, and that is a very, very, very tedious task, and especially when it comes to insurances and the medical accuracy and stuff like that, you have to be really careful with that as well. So yeah, that must have been a really, really long journey, but I'm glad that you stood through it and you came so far. And it's so amazing that we are at now where we can get the accurate result for everyone. So it's available for everyone, and you can just download the app and start working on it. It's available for Android and it's available for iOS as well, right?
correct.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And also, you told about the next steps for it. So for oral cancer, how's that going? Because that is going to be even more hectic than the simple teeth one.
Yeah. So again, it takes more than almost a million photos whose database we do have, but there are multiple things which happens on the back end where we are training our models to identify those, understand if there are some histories associated with it, and then give a preliminary screening report. So these are again more challenging things. However, the work has begun, and we are also focusing on distributing this particular tech, which is scanning the teeth, as much as possible by also empowering our dental surgeons.
Yeah,
So we have like more than 60 robots live in India. Through Gitex, we did our soft launch of AI robot, which we
nice,
call as a robot, uh, right, for UAE market, and we already have some good news coming in the next
nice.
few months of installing there. So you or anybody in the UAE can just go to the nearest AI robot by scanO and experience what you did during the Gitex firsthand. And for the subsequent scans and to maintain your oral health could be done through your mobile app.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really great one, and I will give props to UAE government. Then they are working, very seriously on artificial intelligence and stuff like that, and robotics. We are seeing more of it every day, and it will also help reduce the burden of surgeons as well, dental surgeons as well, because to be very honest, a good dental surgeon, it's waste of his time to just do the initial screening. But if he can focus more on the actual task, once the main problems are identified, he can focus on basically eliminating that problem, or trying to prevent it and trying to find it out. So yeah, that's a really actually, that's, to be very honest, it's a very big steps towards actual artificial intelligence and actual good use of artificial intelligence that can actually serve humanity. So every time we see some artificial intelligence, it's a Terminator 3 type scenario. But yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
So
and
you yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
the initial screening and diagnosis is of course not a waste of time, but when an AI can be a co-pilot in
Yep,
number one saving time, and second
yep,
helping in the mass education and screening of patients. uh,
yep,
the second part you mentioned rightly, that we can focus more on treatments,
yep,
uh, and let this part take care through AI. So we can have more time. But
yep.
all these steps in any treatment, I think the diagnosis is the 50% of the treatment itself. and through
Yeah,
our
I would.
AI.
Yeah, I would like to retract my statement. I
Correct.
actually apologize for that. Yeah. So, but yeah, my point was that if they can focus more on, because we actually have a very shortage of dental surgeons all across the world as well, because it does seem like there are a lot, but the numbers, we actually need more doctors and more health physicians. So yeah, that's why I was mentioning that.
Correct, correct. So this, with this screening, we were not covering the entire diagnosis, but at least the initial part of where do you stand with respect to your oral health score and what are the next steps.
Yep.
So glad we've served more than 150 100,000 users already,
That's
and
awesome. That's yeah.
we're wishing all the luck, to scan and us for our expansion in UAE. And looking, we have initiated a few partnerships. Uh,
Yeah, that's awesome. And you also mentioned the UK market as well. So are you guys looking for that in the future, or how are you guys planning it? Because to be very honest, it's such a good tech that can be, actually be installed anywhere, and it will benefit the humanity, greatly.
Correct. So as I mentioned, we've already done our entry there, and we are in advanced level of discussions with four entities. So you will be soon seeing these robots in your nearest places.
Awesome, that's awesome. And going back to the point where can you tell me a little bit more about how do a person like me, or a person like my mother, or what are some journal tips for keeping it good for us? Yeah.
General tips to keep your mouth
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
First thing, keep scanning on scanO
yeah,
every once in a month. So
yeah,
you would know. See, depending on season, your age, your medical history, and also your diet and stress during that particular month or a particular quarter, you will see immediate changes in your mouth, because your mouth is the window of your body.
yep,
So whatever that's going to happen, any disease or any kind of reaction responses from your body will be first reflected in your oral cavity.
yep,
So, which is why it is so important to screen regularly. When it comes to general habits, right, apart from screening, uh, everybody keeps saying that, brush twice a day, brush in a right technique, use right products for your oral type. Now, this is not known by everybody. That just like you have a different fingerprint for, unique fingerprint,
yep,
you have a unique oral type and specific needs for your teeth and gums and lips and all the tissues.
yep,
You can be using same products as your family members or friends, because your needs are different, everybody's
yep,
according to your history and habits, and of course the type. So use the right products. You would understand what is your oral type, right? So you know your hair type, skin type, your oral
yep,
type is understood by scanning on scanO. So use products that way. If required, you can start doing oil pulling according to your condition. Flossing, of course, everybody should be, but very few people do it. And the ones who do it can tell the difference with respect to, not having decay in proximal areas, which is in between teeth, having a very fresh breath, overall goodness of your oral health. The ones who are not doing it know that, what are the problems that they are facing. The cleaning of
yeah,
tongue is super important. Having a very fibrous diet is important. So I won't get into technical details
yeah,
because I
yeah,
think he says this, but knowing where you stand and what are the personalized things that you should be looking forward is not everybody speaks about.
yep.
So yeah, just leave it to scanO. Scan once in a month and you're done. You do not need to put in a lot of head of, uh, synthesizing your right habits, again, which is taken care in the app.
Yeah, that's a good one. And also, the good thing about scanner is that it will actually boost the confidence of a normal person like me as well, because people like me are very afraid of going to a dentist and stuff like that. But if we know we have a app, we can just scan it and keep scanning it, even yeah. So it will help us keep a better diet and understand our our mouth as well, because you said everyone has their own type, and once we know that, we will be able to take care of it greatly. So yeah, it's a really actually really great app. And yeah, so really thank you, really thank you for having this session with me. And I would like to again apologize for my remark earlier. So,
Don't
do you
worry.
have any closing remark?
Closing remark, having both a healthy and a beautiful smile is important.
Yeah,
Usually, people are just concerned about how do I look, right? My front teeth should be good, and either the posterior teeth, it's okay, however they feel or look. So it's a combination of a healthy smile where you have no decay, no gum problems, no lesions on your soft tissues, so that your body can function well. And of course, if you have all teeth in place, your mastication is proper, which is your chewing. The way you speak is proper, and who doesn't want to look good, right? So you need to
yeah,
have a good set of teeth. The first thing people observe is your mouth, is your smile, right? It is so important. So don't just be after a good smile. Of course, you should have that, but also aim for a healthy smile. And if just like work-life balance, right? It's like a good balance of this, and then you will see a change of confidence, and how you deal with all kinds of situations in life, right? So
yeah. That
that's
makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vidhi, for coming on the podcast. Really means a lot.
Thank you, Said. And I hope, even if this impacts the life of one person in changing their habits, or looking from a different view, or changing the perspective of oral health, I think these 25 minutes are worth our discussion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.